This is Yohhamgambal. We're back playing Shin Megami Tensei Digital Devil Saga. Last time we were taking down some of the secret bosses in the game that we could fight before heading to the Karma Temple. That being Beelzebub, Beelzebub's fly form, avatar form, Orchi, and King Frost. Anyways, we are chasing after Sera now because after defeating Varen, we defeated all the leaders of the junkyard, obviously, and the rain stopped, so we are now going to chase Sera. And anyways, right here we have temple guards. These are like sub-bosses. They actually become regular enemies later on. Actually, very soon. They're not that hard, though. They avoid physical, gun, expel, death, ailments, and hunt. So you actually cannot eat them. Even if you make them scared, you cannot eat them because they're considered humans, I guess. And that's actually kind of, that's actually something that kind of happens in the second game, too. You can't eat humans. You can only eat demons. But they resist fire, ice, but they are weak to electricity. And did I write force? They might be weak to force, but I don't think that's correct. Weird. But then the normal versions don't have any weaknesses, I think. But there's not really anything interesting about them. The sub-boss forms are slightly stronger than, they just have more HP than the regular forms. But they can take you out of your avatar tuner state, as you saw with Argilla, so be a little careful about that, but otherwise they're not very difficult at all. But yeah, though, so we are chasing Sera, and this episode's gonna be, you know, an hour long because, you know, obviously I get all the temple done in one part because it can be annoying. There are some annoying aspects to the temple climbing that I really dislike, and you'll see that later. Alright, well, it seems like Sera's getting further into the tower. Yeah, we should be the kings. We defeated all the leaders, but, you know, whatever. Yeah, we don't know. So anyways, this guy over here, if you talk to him, he'll actually give you a mission. And you don't have to accept it. You can deny it if you want. But all of that happens is, in the second game, you'll find a person, and then you'll just tell her to be happy, and that's it. And then you get an item, and that's it. So it's kind of cool. So it's kind of interesting. I'm imagining, for someone who is playing this game, you know, when this game first came out and the second game hasn't been released yet, and then you accept that mission, and you're like, well, where am I supposed to go to complete it? You can't complete it in this game. You have to accept it in this game, and then it transfers into the next game with your save file. So you have to import your data. So you have to have the save file of this game and import it with that choice. Otherwise, you can talk to the person, but I don't think there's any mission. You don't get anything. I don't know if there's like special dialogue though. If you don't, I'm not sure. But yeah, that's all I know. Anyways, though, the Karma Temple is really big, so we have a lot of climbing to do. We have a whole bunch of climbing to do. And unfortunately, one of the more annoying aspects of the Karma Temple is when you make it to the very top, there is no large terminal. So it puts you like really close to the top, but not enough to where you don't have to go through the terribly annoying puzzles to get through. Because this place is actually, it gets very maze-like in some of the places, and it's actually really confusing. Even though I've played this game like 4 times now, I still have difficulty getting through it, mainly because you'll see when I get there, but it has a lot to do with the camera angle and just, it's kind of annoying. Anyways, I'm just showing this because they are technically, I guess, a unique enemy, but they're not too unique. They're fairly easy to kill. I love Mind Charge, by the way. I like how they just put their palm out, like, talk to the hand, and then they stab you. But, yeah, they're not that dangerous. Not much of note of anything, really. They don't give much experience, and not a whole lot of Atma. Despite the fact that you can't hunt them, they still give you Atma, but I don't know. But let's get on this. Woo! Back to the angel things. Those weird, this Giger looking like Axiom Verge, those things on the ceiling. And Sera is a terribly slow walker. Alright, but with that, let's continue to chase Sera. Don't know why she's running away from us. I mean, she must know what's going on. Why doesn't she just give us the deets? And there's no point to talking this, because it just tells you the information from the beginning of the game. I thought maybe they had something new, but they don't. It must be really uncomfortable being upside down like that all day, every day, while being naked. It really does look like H.R. Giger artwork. I don't know. Anyways, on the elevator. You know, it's funny, I actually broke an elevator one time. I jumped in it when I was a little kid and I broke it. That's what this scene makes me think of. It's kind of funny. But unfortunately, though, we do not go to the top of the tower. We go all the way to the bottom. Because, of course, we would. But, oh well, you know. That's just the hero's journey, right? And we're going to be coming up to a boss fight, so you really want to make sure that you have fire, because the boss is terribly weak to fire, and uses a whole bunch of ice. So just make sure you're ready for that. If you're not like a decent level, he actually can be a bit hard. He can actually do a fairly amount of good damage, and especially if he freezes you. But because I'm such a high level, this fight is easy. But yeah, you still gotta be careful though, because the later bosses in this tower, even though I'm a pretty good level, still kind of beat me up a little bit because I'm stupid and I forget I forget to put maybe some I forget to put certain abilities on. One of the abilities I kept forgetting to put on throughout this tower is Null Death, which really starts biting me in the butt, but thankfully it doesn't kill me, but it does make me look like a complete buffoon, which is, I think, relatively normal for me, but still, it's a little funny. Stage 1. Anyways, this thing is called the Milk. It's called something Milk. It has to do with the boss, because the boss has the boss has to I don't know what it's called. It's like the milk, the Sea of Milk. Thank you. There it is. The Sea of Milk. I like his voice. It goes, ah! So yeah, this is the first mini boss. Well, I don't know if they're mini bosses, but the bosses. This is Vasky, and it basically just like, if I understand correctly, it just kind of like churns this like sea milk or whatever, and I think that has to do with reincarnation. But it also churns like Armata, the nectar of immortality. So it also churns like this nectar that gives immortality, but it's a Buddhist myths and Chinese and Japanese, and it's one of the great Nagi kings. So of course Nagi being the snake tribe that we fought before. So I guess it's one of the great kings. It makes sense. It's a snake and it has a. It makes me think of the caterpillar from Alice in Wonderland. But it absorbs ice, avoids elements, death, expel. It resists physical, but it is weak to fire. Very weak to fire. As you can see, I'm popping off 2,000 damage. It's yeah. Look, he's already leaning over. He's pretty much dead. And just to add insult to injury, a little debilitating, and he's done. The first time I fought him, though, like my very first time through the game, he actually kicked my ass because I didn't fight any of the secret bosses. I did fight King Frost, but that was it. I didn't know about the other ones because I didn't have the red key card for the other ones, and I definitely didn't fight the 4 guardians, but or the other secret bosses. But yeah, he did kick my ass the first time I played through the game, but he's not that hard. He does have a lot of I think he has some of the strongest ice spells in the game. So if you just keep using like Ice Drain, if you keep putting like an ice shield up, he never gets the chance to actually use it, and then he just resorts to using different attacks. Which he's not nearly as strong as with. So, you know. Yeah, sounds like it. I like how you can see little souls in the milk. But yeah, though, we gotta go chase Sera. Don't know why they refer to it. It's interesting. So she's referred to as the Great Shaman, but they refer to her as Mother. You know, despite being with Sera for so long in the game, we know very little about her. The characters do, and us as the player as well. Look at that vitality, baby. Yummy. That's good vitality. And I got a little bonus. Nice. So yeah, there's the enemy encounter rate is really annoying here, because even if you're at a really high level like my characters and you put on the repel, you still get a shit ton of encounters. So it's actually really annoying. Anyways, though, these new enemies with the little cones on their penises, and they reflect ice, because I'm a moron, are Rakashia. I think I said that right. And there's no death. They're Rakashia. Let me see. Rakashia. They're unrighteous spirits in Hindu and Buddhist mythos, and they're created from Brahmana's foot. And if I remember correctly, Brahmanas is we talked about Brahmanas in the last part briefly when we were talking about Sati. Yeah, and Brahma is a deity that created the universe in Hinduism, I believe. But many Rakashas, I'm just going to pronounce their names totally wrong, just so you know. Many Rakashas are incarnations of wicked humans. They're notorious for disturbing sacrifices, desecrating graves, harassing priests, possessing humans, and other various evil acts. They also have venomous fingers. They eat humans and spoiled food. They're shapeshifters, illusionists, and magicians. So there are a whole bunch of different things which are really interesting. They reflect ice, death, and weak the earth, expel, and panic. So yeah, that's actually pretty interesting though. It's kind of funny. I guess I wouldn't call. I guess you would. I was about to call them cannibals, but they're not technically humans. They're demons. And cannibalism, I think the definition of cannibalism is eating your own species. So they wouldn't be cannibalisms because they are not humans. I guess they would be considered cannibalistic if they ate other demons. So I guess our characters are technically cannibals, if I'm thinking about that correctly, because yeah, I think our characters are technically cannibals because they're humans or human-esque. We don't know exactly what they are. And then they turn into demons, and they eat the other demons who were once human like them. So, yeah. Anyways, ice is getting reflected a lot in this part. Anyways, we have two new enemies. We have the enemy in the middle with the furry crotch is Pazuzu, god of the southwest wind. He's god of the southwest wind. He's actually really interesting in mythos. I really find him interesting. He brings famine during the dry seasons and locusts during the rainy seasons, and usually invoked by amulets that usually he seems to be like invoked with amulets that combat powers of malicious gods. An example being Lamatashtu, which is a god that causes harm to mother and child during childbirth. What's interesting about Pazuzu is he is actually an evil spirit, but he drives other spirits away. He drives other evil spirits away, thus protecting people from certain misfortunes and plagues. So while he brings plagues with him, he also protects you from maybe more worse things. So it's like, you know, the lesser of two evils. So it's kind of interesting. You might not have you might have some famine during the season, but your mothers will not be dying during childbirth, which is kind of interesting. But he reflects death. He absorbs ice, electricity. He's weak to force. And then the other enemy was just Supam. Let me see. I am terrible with these pronunciations. Sorry. Suparana. It's just a mythological bird from Indian mythos, but he reflects force, voids earth, resists elements, and he is weak to gun. So another enemy who is weak to gun. Yeah, though, that's actually we're not going to run across any new enemies until the mini-boss. Yeah, those are all there's other enemies in this tower, but we didn't actually run across them, surprisingly. Yeah, but that's fine. So that just means a whole bunch of cutout battles. But yeah, the real trial of this tower is just getting up it, and in the beginning, it's not too hard. The beginning part of it is actually relatively easy, and then you get large terminals that you could teleport to. But it's the last leg of it that's difficult because there is no large terminal to teleport to, and you're probably thinking, well, that's not too big of a deal because I'm not going to be leaving the tower, and that's true if you're not doing the secret bosses, because to make the other secret bosses appear in this game, there's 4, 5, 6. There's 7 more secret bosses to fight in this game, and they only appear once you go all the way up to the tower. You have to go to the very last floor of the tower, and then leave. So you have to. There's no teleportation up there. You can only get a teleportation that gets you relatively close to it, but you still have to deal with all the completely annoying maze puzzle. So it's very annoying in that part. And what makes it more annoying is one of the secret bosses is actually in the tower, in the higher points of it. So he's not too hard to get to, but I guess it's not too big of a deal because you got to climb back up the tower anyways. But if you want to fight another secret boss after him, the Demi-Fiend, you have to... Actually, I don't know if you can fight the Demi-Fiend before you beat the 4 Guardians. You might be able to, but I'm not 100% sure. I think you have to fight all of them before the Demi-Fiend appears. And again, that's going to be in the bonus part. I already have the video for it, and holy crap, he was hard. But that's going to be in the bonus part. Like I mentioned in the last part, I wanted to... I wanted him to be his own part because he's such a notoriously hard boss. Notorious hard secret boss. I don't think he's harder than the final boss in Nocturnes, but he's pretty notoriously hard. I wanted him to be his own part because I didn't want to share it with the final boss of the game. So, yeah, that's a bonus part. Anyways, though, I'm getting off topic. We still have a whole bunch of tower to go. Like, a whole bunch. It's, yeah, I mean, thankfully, though, it gives you good, experience. And thankfully, though, we, just getting more abilities like no mute and, which is, helpful for the Orchi, but it's still relatively good to have. Because some enemies like to do that. But there's not... Yeah. During the tower, I'm just kind of avoiding a lot of the treasure here because, really, I don't need it. There's some treasure here, but I avoid pretty much most of the treasure because, really, there's no need. I really don't need it. My character... I have a lot of items. I have some of the best abilities in the game. I don't have all of them. Like, I don't like Master Priest because it's not really necessary to beat the game. And you don't really need it to beat the secret bosses. Well, I do actually, for one of the secret bosses, I do use an old file where I did a little more grinding because I just didn't want to have to re-grind all the way. And I had him saved right before the fight, so it made my life just a little bit easier. But that's in the next part. Let's not worry about that right now. But yeah, they're just continuing to climb up. Well, 98 feet. We're 98 feet in the air. See, I had the anti-demon field up, and I'm still getting hounded by enemies. I don't know what level these enemies are, so that's probably why. But even still, though, I'm like, the recommended level to beat this game is like 70, like 60 or 70. It's like late 60s, possibly early 70s, but I don't think it's early 70s. I think it's late 60s. So it's really not that difficult. Yeah, it's okay. And we get some new mantras. Holy leader. I love Heat's monster design. It's so great. Yeah, he's pretty good. Him learning Ragnarok would be good, but he doesn't really need it. He already has. He's pretty good. Her learning some of the better healing would be nice, but I mean, my other. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry about my throat. My other characters already have salvation, so they're really good on that. Healing is not an issue. Salvation is so good, and I always have somas and items, so it's not really a big issue. All right, continuing up. I like the cylinder. I like how these elevators just look like cylinders. Better than the elevators back at our original base, which were just giant shark cages. Yeah, I was trying to think of something, but I couldn't think of anything. Excuse me, I'm really sorry about my throat. I'm going to take a drink. I'm very sorry about that. That is really rude. Like I said, I've been battling this cold for like, feels like a month now, and I'm not sick or anything, but there's just like a lot of residue. And anyways, Sera's leaving her own residue, it seems like. And this is where things get annoying, start to get annoying. Right now, they're still relatively easy, but this is where things start to get annoying. Unfortunately, Sera has created walls. And these walls, when you go into them, they take you to some other part of the room. You go into them and they warp you. This one's easy. So you have to just constantly go to the farthest right side, and then it will just keep taking you to the left side. That's easy. But what makes this difficult is that you don't know which way the light is going to take you. And then when they start giving you rooms that are square, like in a complete square, it gets very annoying very fast. And what makes it also kind of annoying is when you go through them, your camera kind of reorients itself, which can make it very confusing. And as you can see on the map, it leaves exclamation marks. So it's hard to tell which way you're wanting to. At least I have difficulty trying to figure out which way I'm wanting to go, because it kind of like when you start just keep going through the same ones and different ones, you start having a whole bunch of exclamation marks, and it's hard to tell where you want to go to where you've just been. The camera circle, you know, it can be very it can be very confusing. At least I find it, like I said, very confusing. Yeah, I found it very confusing at least. But yeah, we're about a fourth up the tower. We are fourth, I guess a fourth. Yeah, we're getting there. Like I said, this tower is really long. It is very long. And I mean, the beginning is really not that hard. It's the latter half that gets very annoying very quickly. So, you know, we just kind of have to deal with it. But, you know, that's just life. That is the Shin Megami Tensei Digital Devil Saga life. And only like one of my characters. The funny thing is you can't use salvation out of battle. Salvation can only be used during battle. So, Argilla is kind of the only one with any healing ability outside of battle, which is funny. And another thing that Sera starts doing is she starts putting. Well, I'll let you see. Oh, she hasn't done it yet. Okay. Well, she puts a huge light wall right there. She puts a huge light barrier. And unfortunately, there's no way to avoid it, so you gotta go through it. And it just sucks you down below. Sucks you straight into hell. So, yeah. Kind of annoying. I like how the art, it's like, it's very jumbly in here. And anyways, something, has it started yet? No, it hasn't yet. Okay. Because later on, they'll actually start putting, they'll have another obstacle for us that we have to overcome along with the lights. And at this point, I'm just going straight to where we need to go. I'm not even messing around. The funny thing is, I always kind of remember which way I need to go to continue on to get up. I just kind of know which way to go. I just kind of sense it because I don't know how I remember. I just kind of go. So yeah, that's kind of funny at least. But yeah. Oops, neither. My goodness, so many enemies. I mean, we haven't had enemies for a minute, so I guess it's okay. But yeah, like I said, though, we don't run across any new enemies. And I know there's a couple more. I think there's one more we haven't faced. It's like, he's a dragon. I can't remember his name. I almost want to call him Surf, but I know his name isn't Surf. It's like, I know he's an Egyptian enemy. He's like an Egyptian deity. But I can't recall what his name is. Anyways, there's a red wall here. And I don't remember what's behind that red wall, honestly. I think it's just an item. Because I know that that's not the way to the secret boss. And I think I don't even, yeah. At this point, I was just like, I don't give a shit. I don't care. I just hate this. I really don't like this tower. Like, it wouldn't be so bad if you weren't constantly bombarded with enemies. And I know it's the final part, but, you know, I put the spray on. I'm obviously a high enough level to beat everything here with relative ease, despite the fact that I keep coming back from the fights with, like, no life left. But, yeah. Yeah, and as you can see, I started to run away from a lot of fights too, because when it fades to white, that just means I ran away from it. I was, I was honestly getting a little bit lazy, so I do apologize for that, viewers. I was getting a little lazy, but the fights just don't yield a whole lot for me, and a lot of times I was getting ambushed too. So I was just like, okay, whatever. I probably won't be able to do that in the second game though, because there is normal and hard mode, and I'm planning on playing it on hard mode, and running away is drastically decreased. And don't even try and run away in Shin Megami Tensei Nocturne. It almost feels like a 0% chance sometimes that there's any chance to run away. It's insane. It's insane. And anyways, here's the other obstacle I was talking about. Sera now can make walls up here. I think... No, this isn't. Okay. I was trying to remember if this is the highest large karma terminal, but it's not. There's one more after this, I believe. But yeah, though Sera can now make she's now made a bunch of walls up here, and you have to go around them. And so she makes walls that disappear and walls that reappear. So, there'll be like an open space. You try and go through it, it is blocked off. There's a closed space. There's a wall that's closed. You walk up to it, it disappears. So, yeah. She is trying to prevent you from getting up here. And I don't appreciate that, because I thought we were friends. Is that how you treat your friends, Sera? Man, we're pretty high up in the air. Okay. Still going. More fighting that I run away from, because I'm a chicken shit. And I was like, where the hell am I supposed to go? But then I was like, oh yeah, there's a wall behind me. I was like, duh, stupid. Yeah, you won't be able to tell if the walls can be walked through until you get right up to them. So that can be a little annoying, but it's not too bad. And which way do you go? Do you go left or right? You go this way. See, I just kind of remembered where I need to go, which is weird. Or I don't know if I remembered. I just kind of went blindly. Because like I said, I played through this game multiple times, and the temple is really annoying to get through. It is very aggravating, to say the least. And it doesn't help that if you're doing the secret boss, you have to go through it more than once, so... It's what it is, but, yeah. I mean, it makes sense, though. This is not a practical way to get around, though. Why don't they just have one main elevator all the way up that goes to each floor? This is just... This is just not at all efficient. Like, in the slightest. And I'm running out of sprays. Not that that matters too much. They don't seem to be helping. I think they are keeping off some of the weaker enemies, but there's still enemies that are, high enough to where I am, I guess. And someone's bad. I don't know. I think someone might be poisoned or something. Oh, no, it's just heat. He's muted. Oh, that's not too big of a deal. Well, I mean, he can't use power charge, so that's actually kind of a big deal, because power charge is really his go-to thing to power up and then, bash their heads in. Excuse me, yawning. Alright. We are halfway there, look, I think. Alright, and of course, if it's a straight shot, it's definitely not a straight shot because there's invisible walls that will block your path. Yeah, I'm glad that I didn't record this live because it's, at a point it'd just be really annoying to record and play live. I think with RPGs, I think really doing the post-commentary really works out. And in all my other games, I'll do live. I think just for RPGs, though, I think the post-commentary works out because I feel like, I mentioned this before, but it really allows me to have some things to possibly write about and things like that. And all the editing's done, so I kind of know what's going to happen. So that's really nice, too. But yeah, though. And this tower is still going. And there's just an item that way, and I do go for it, but... Oh, and then I say forget it. Screw it. And then I completely walk the other way. They tricked me. They had it, like, right there. They made me go through an invisible wall. I'm like, oh, sweet. It's just an easy shot. And then, no. And, okay, here we are. Okay, we are getting very close. We're getting to the top. Anyways, for this part, you really want to have no death on, but because I'm a moron, I forgot to put it on, so this makes my life a little harder. But I do manage to beat it, though. Anyways, though, what we have to do is raise these columns up so we can get farther up the tower. Yeah, though, these birds are really flying around. But yeah, though, you gotta go over here, press a button, and we'll press a button. There you go. After you heal, after you got your ass whipped, apparently, from a whole bunch of monsters. Because, yeah, they were whooping my ass. But, yeah, though, so you definitely want to put Null Death on. Thankfully, I do put it on one of my characters, but the others I kind of forget to because, yeah, you know. I think one of them had Death Resist. Yeah, so one had Death Resist because she doesn't have Null Death yet. She hasn't learned it. But, yeah. Still managed to make it through okay. But it could have been a little easier. But, you know, that's what makes it fun, I guess. I put gosh, guys, so yawning. I put up the I put the wrong spell though. I put on the spell that made the wind spell that hit multiple enemies. I just wanted the wind spell that hit a single enemy. I didn't realize I put the multi-hitting one. That's okay. I just want to grab onto those birds and they can fly me to the top. Once you activate that button, you just gotta stand in the middle and then it just moves you up like that. I don't know if you can get down, though, now that I moved it up. I never really thought about that before. Huh. Because you moved that whole side of the pillar up. I think the stairs below shouldn't be connecting to the platform down there. Oh, well. You have to do this a couple more times. I think it's like 2 more times. But, yeah, though. Nothing too hard. Did Sera just skip this, or did the birds pick her up and take her? It's not fair. I did all this work and beat all the tribe leaders, and then she gets an easy ticket up there. Getting that HP up. 700. Yeah, my stats are pretty decent. Again, though, if you really want to max out your stats, you go for power and agility, because those are the hardest noises to find, and then you can grind for them. And up we go again. Nice. Column of Light. I like how it has like a... When you're in the Column of Light, it has its own little title. It doesn't say the elevation anymore. It's just Column of Light. I like that they have the birds circling around on the outside. It's kind of a neat little detail. I think it's a really neat detail anyways. And the anti-demon field is gone. What? It was working before? Oh, and I had an MP noise. Yep, using that on my main character because he's greedy. He's a very greedy main character. And I feel like that might be the last one. I don't remember. Hey, don't get out of the shot, bird. But I think this is the last one. Yep, it's the last one. Good. So there were only like 3. Well, looks like we're going to be able to pass by. Well, the birds are just frolicking in the air, and we're just going to squeeze on by. And after we fight that enemy, we're going to squeeze on by. Or maybe not. All right, and here we have our... I keep wanting to say mini-boss, but I don't know if they're considered mini-bosses. Whatever, the boss. We have... Gosh, I'm seriously sorry about that cough. We have Jat Yu. It's a valiant bird. Yeah, I am dying over here. It's a nephew of Garuda, which is the other bird flying around. Friend of Rama, which is the 7th avatar of Vishnu. And it actually, in one of the stories with Jayata, it was trying to rescue Rama's wife, who was kidnapped by Ravana. If you remember, Ravana is, I almost said Count Bleck. Ravana was Baron or Colonel Beck's avatar tuner form, Ravana. But he was eventually defeated by Ravana. But there's also another story where Garuda kidnapped a prince, and I believe Jatayu tried to save him, but then was also defeated by Garuda. So yeah, but so he reflects Earth. This is the boss form because you also run across him after you beat him. You'll run across him normally, and I forgot he had the gates to hell. which is really bad because it turns enemies to stone. Thankfully, though, I had Gale with null death, so I was a little lucky on that. But he reflects earth, voids fire, electricity, elements, death, expel. But then when you fight him normally as a random enemy, he reflects earth, death, and voids fire, electricity, expel, and elements. So pretty similar. And he doesn't have any weaknesses though. But he's not too hard though. He will try and stone you though, which can be dangerous. But with null death, he's pretty easy. And I don't think he has a way to get rid of any of the debuffs. No, he does. He can get rid of his debuffs. But yeah, he's not that hard. And he will try and instant kill you. But yeah, other than that though, he's not too bad. He goes down. Surf stop turning to stone, he would be even easier to beat. But I got salvation, so it's good. And just keep hitting him with an element. That's all you can really do. And I think Surf dies here. Yep. Yeah, I felt really stupid during this match. I felt really stupid. I was just like, wow, I'm a moron. But we do manage to get through it, so I promise you, I do manage to get through it. Eventually. At this point, though, it's just like, okay, I'm just going to replace you. It sounds mean, but I'm just like, I'm going to replace you. And just, yeah. Fine, you can weaken my physical attack. I don't care. Okay, don't weaken my magic, though. I need that. Jerk. So yeah, I just put him back because I remembered that Argilla did have resist death, so she has a better chance of surviving than Surf does at the moment, who doesn't have any resistance to death spells. So, and I'm pretty sure Celio has null death on, so that's why I brought him out. Yeah, he had null death, so that's why I brought him out. I was just like, I just revived you. Oh well, just keep debilitating. Works decently enough. And then you just hit him with some wind. Then he wastes a turn getting rid of it. But as you can see, he's almost already dead. Even with me doing terribly, he's still pretty much almost dead. So, that's nice. How is he flying? He's just like levitating. It's impressive. And now he's taunting me, which, okay, whatever. And he's probably going to get rid of my bonuses, though. Yep, so I just lost a whole bunch of defense, and I didn't get any of that attack. That's fine, it's not a big deal. Just trying to find the... There we go, come on. Find the healing item. There you go. Nope, there you go. Bring back Argilla. I like Celio's monster, has little hands. And there we go, but this fight isn't over yet because his... Wait a minute, was he the nephew or... Yeah, his, I guess uncle. Yeah, his uncle comes around. And this is Garuda, large mythical bird from Hindu and Buddhist myth. He's the enemy of the Nagi race, so he does not like Nagis. He has a gold body, white face, red wings, eagle beaks, and sometimes he has a crown, and is said to be big enough to block out the sun when flying, so that's cool. His boss form is void of voids ice, force, earth, expel, death, ailments, and resist on fire and electricity. While his normal random encounter form you'll fight, reflects gun, force, earth. But he voids ice, expel, death, and ailments. So he's not too bad. It's funny, of course, when I start recording, it's when my throat starts to want to die on me. But yeah, the way to go though, he. Unlike his nephew, he'll use a lot of expel abilities. But yeah, though, what you really want to do though is use physical attacks against him, because he can't really do much against those. So yeah, he's actually not too hard either though. He goes down fairly quickly. If you use like heat with power charge and then just revelation, you can take him down really quickly. But he does like to use wind, but that's not too big of an issue. And his physical attacks really, yeah, and because this fight also goes really fast because I have heat with high counter, so he has a really high chance of just hitting him when he gets hit. Plus his defense is skyrocketing down thanks to all the debilitates I'm throwing on him. So his accuracy is going down. And he'll use an almighty attack too, but he's, yeah, look at that. It's pretty pitiful. But he will get rid of his debuffs though. I like the way he holds his body. It's kind of interesting. He almost looks like a model. It's kind of weird. Like, look at my legs. But I'm just gonna have Heat stab him in the crotch. He'll use Power Wave too, which is somewhat dangerous. But yeah, not dangerous enough to take down old Heat. And with that, Heat is done. Okay, now here comes the really annoying part of this tower. Oh man, I'm just looking at my timeline and I'm just seeing like a shit ton of cuts because we run into a crap ton of enemies here. But yeah, though. So, we are about, I'd say a little more than halfway up the tower. But this is the last large Karma Temple you find. And we're about a little, like I said, a little more than halfway up the tower. So, if you want to come back, if you ever leave the tower for whatever reason, and then you want to go back up it, you have to come from, this is the highest point, and then you have to walk it. So, yeah, it's kind of a pain in the ass, honestly. I don't know why they didn't put a large whatever, man, my mind is blanking. A large terminal. I don't know why they didn't put a large terminal at the very top. I mean, it's fine, but it's a little annoying just because getting through this part is actually very, I don't want to say aggravating, but it can be very hard just because of the lights that you had to go through and the invisible walls. Them working together in giant square rooms make it very confusing to figure out where you're supposed to go. So, yeah. And it doesn't help that the encounter rate feels like it's really high. Like, it feels like you're constantly getting bombarded with enemies. So, you know, that's not great fun either, honestly. But yeah, I don't know. Well, yeah, we just gotta keep climbing. And I'm almost out of sprays. So that's the final elevator right there that we need to get to. And you're probably thinking, well, if that's the final, that elevator will take us to the very top of the tower. And Sera decides to appear, of course. And what's annoying is the elevator's right there. It is just right there. That is the last point. That is where we need to go to, and then we get to the top of the tower. But she put a huge wall there, and we have to go the very, very, very long way around. So yeah, we have to go the very long way around, which is filled with enemies, invisible wall. Oh, that's the wrong way. Dingus. It's the other way. Filled with enemies and invisible walls and a lot of the lights. First time I went through this place was really terrible. I was just like, oh, I can't figure it out. Well, I mean, I did, but I was just like, it was hard too because I wasn't nearly as leveled up, so I fought a lot of the enemies, and it gets hard because you start running low on materials, you know. You start running low on HP, and then when you start running low on HP, you start using, you know, your magic to heal, but then you start running low on magic, and then you can't use your magic in fights, and then the enemies can one-up you because now you're limited, and then you start relying on Heat to use just physical attacks, but because Heat's physical attacks take so much HP away from him, he starts dying. But the first time I played through this game, I did have Surf was completely physical, so that was nice a little bit, because Surf could still do a lot of damage, but I had to use a lot of the healing items I had, just because, you know, his abilities, his HP was taking such a huge hit from my own attacks more than the enemies, so. And not all enemies are weak to physical. So yeah, I don't think there are enemies that are weak to physical, but yeah, I don't think there's any enemy that's weak to physical. There's just enemies that like null it or reflect it or are resistant to it, but there's no enemies weak to physical. It's kind of interesting. Because there's, you know, you'll even find enemies weak to gun, but no enemy weak to physical. I guess it kind of makes sense. I guess. I don't know. Because then anybody would be able to kill it with a physical, I mean, would be able to get an extra turn with a physical attack. So, I don't know. Anyways, do not want to go that way. And not that way. Nope, not that way either, because that way's blocked. Yep, can't go that way. So you gotta go around, buddy. Take the long road. Yeah, they really like it. They really start loving to make you take the long road. That's okay. Just taking the scenic route. Just taking the very slow scenic route, baby. But yeah, though, this isn't the part that's hard yet, though. This isn't the part that's confusing, and you'll know when you see it, because I'll probably tell you too. But thankfully, though, I mean, it's not too hard. Despite all my complaining, it's not too hard. It's just annoying when you have to leave the tower and then come back. That's the only thing I really don't like about it. Is just that to do the extra stuff, you have to reclimb this tower again, and it's not really fun the first time. And yeah, so that's just one of the annoying aspects. Anyways, you gotta go this way because there is a wall that will block you. So just whoop. I like how it looks. I like how he just swoops through the side. I like to think that there's like a giant invisible hand, like an invisible wall master, just grabbing Surf and just pulling him. That's kind of what it looks like to me. And figuring out where to go. This is where it starts getting confusing because they start putting you in rooms, just square rooms with those. The first one's not too bad, but they start getting kind of complex when they start throwing like 6 of those things in there. And I think so you go through this one and then you're done. But yeah. So that one's not too bad, but it's like the next one that kind of drives me crazy. But one of the last secret bosses in the game you can fight is actually it's up here, I believe. It's like right around here. There's a hidden wall that's right, if you look forward, there's a hidden wall over there, and I think I show you too. That is where you will find one of the last secret bosses. It's not the very, very last one, but it's one of the last. It's like excluding the Demi-Fiend, it's like the last secret boss. He can be pretty hard, but yeah. Anyways, though, let me see if I show you. Yep, so if you go forward and then you go to that light there, it takes you to this hallway with a red wall. I think there's a red wall. Yeah, I think there's a red wall. Yeah, there's a red wall there, and then you can fight. If you go there now, I don't think you can go through the door, or there's nothing there at the moment. But yeah, though, this is where you'll see in the next part the leader of these of the 4 guardians. So yeah, but we won't deal with that right now. We'll just leave that be. But yeah, this room I find really kind of aggravating to get through, just because, well, it's one of the rooms. It's not I don't think it's the one I really think is annoying, but yeah, it's just kind of hard to, I just find it kind of hard to get through. Just kind of throws you around, and then camera just kind of puts you like that, and then I'm like, okay, where am I going? And then gotta figure it out, and I just went through that one, I think, and I get it eventually, but yeah. And yep, here we go. I mean, I don't even remember. Gotta heal everybody first from all that damage. Okay, I think I did get it right. Yeah. Good. Okay. We're getting there. We are very close to the end. I'm glad I was able to get it all in one part, though. I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to, but I am glad, because I just kind of like having them all, have it all nice in a part. And there's an invisible wall in front of us, so we can't go that way. But that's the way we need to go. So we're gonna have to do a little trickery with the walls and kind of go back and forth between this that hallway and the main room. It's actually kind of cool. I like doing that. And that was our last spray. So after this, we'll be running. We'll run across the lines. But we still have we have a minimum solar flare, solar noise. So this will last us for a while, because I think it changes every 15 steps is when the solar noise goes up by 1. Every 15 steps. Goes up by 1 and goes down by, so goes all the way up by 1, 15 steps, and it goes all the way down by 15 steps by 1. So yeah. And see, I'm getting a little lost here, Because what you gotta do is bounce between this room and that hallway that we passed, between those walls. And I think I get it. Yep, here we go. Go forward. There you go. Yeah, good. Because it makes you pass through it makes you pass through the invisible wall that you can't get by, and then you just bounce between these two rooms, and then you make it to the doorway. So that's good. I know it doesn't look too hard, and it's not, but it just can be aggravating if you don't remember how to get through, which I never do, because it's just, I just don't remember it most of the time. Goodness, I'm tired for some reason. Sorry, this episode's been full of yawning and coughing and snorting. It's been pretty gross, honestly, so I apologize for that. And I think that's the end. Did we make it? No. Did we make it? No, we're not there yet. We're almost. We are very close, but not quite. I think this is the one that annoys me the most, though, if I remember correctly. So yeah, we need to get over there, I think. Kind of blocked out a lot of what happened because I haven't played this in a while, so just using all the rations, just shove them full of rations. Okay, yeah. So yeah, this is the one I find really annoying. I managed to get through it, I think, fairly easily, but this one is really kind of annoying because it's like, I think it's like 2 interconnecting rooms. So our goal is to get, if you look at the map, our goal is to get to the bottom left side. But there's a whole bunch of walls and lights that, block our path from getting there. And that doesn't take us anywhere. That just puts us right where we were. Oh yeah, that actually does. Never mind. So yeah. And that just puts us right back where we were again. So yeah, just trying to figure out where to go is just kind of hard. Because yeah, there's 2 rooms and then you gotta get to the bottom left part. And I think I figured it out though relatively easy. I get really lucky for the most part. Yeah, see, I got really lucky on that because normally I have a really hard time getting through there. But I managed to do it pretty easily that time, but that's not something that happens a whole bunch for me. And then, yep, you go through here. For a minute, I was like, oh no, I was trying to remember if I was supposed to go that way, but you are. And then that puts you right in front of the elevator, so we've made it. Yep. Whew. I wish there was like a button you could press to make that wall come down. Because that would have been really nice. Even if they don't give you a large terminal to teleport to, I would have taken a button that made that wall disappear. I'll go through all that other one again. I'll go through the other ones again. Just don't make me go through that one again, too. Because they make you go through all 3 of those. Which is really annoying. But it's what it is. Anyways, though, we are pretty much at the end of the tower, and we are going to come across another boss fight. And if I remember correctly, this boss likes to use a whole bunch of status ailments. Yeah. This boss is actually pretty cool. I like this boss a lot, especially design-wise. But yeah, though, you're going to want to put, like, no nerve and no stun. And I think I do that, or I'm about to do it. Or I already did it. Or I guess I'm fine. Let's just go. This is kind of funny, though. No, I like how you could say you can say all right, and then you just leave the room, which is kind of nice because if you didn't know there's a boss fight there, you could have a chance to save. Not that I don't know why you wouldn't save immediately. So anyways, here's Ananata, or Shisha. So this is born from the mouth of the sleeping Balarama, which is the sun god's brother, king of the Naga. And it said, one of the cool aspects about this, the mythos, is it's said to hold all the planets of the universe in its hoods. I don't know why, but I really like that. It either has 5 to 1,000 heads. So that's kind of interesting. It can spew fire. But one of the other interesting aspects of it is by Vishnu, again, one of the primary deities in the Hindu pantheon. It is Vishnu uses it as a bed, and it will sing It will sing songs to Vishnu about his glory, about its glories. So that's kind of funny. I just found that really interesting. Reflects force, absorbs. No, I don't think it absorbs anything, but it voids elements, death, expel, and earth. So yeah, though this thing really likes to power itself up, as you notice. Kind of reminds me of Orchi a little bit, but not as pathetic. When you cripple its ability, and I forgot to force, but it really likes to try and stun you. But if you have a shield on that, it can only really use physical attacks on you. And yeah, it's not that hard. Plus, Heat's high counter is just wailing on it, and he just come on, hit back, Heat. No, okay, Heat hit back 2 out of the 5 times. Oh, 3 out of them. See, not bad. So yeah, it's really not that hard. Just keep blasting it with your strongest spells that it can't take, and there you go. Pretty easy otherwise. But I do like I don't know why that I just like the idea of another god using this thing this god as a bed. I don't know how comfortable it would be though, since it's like a snake. Yeah, this this thing loves status ailments. So if you have the null status ailments on you, it can't do crap to you. But weak physical attacks, and I think it has some magic, but I don't recall what magic it can use. Whatever it is, it's nothing too dangerous. It's all fairly easy. But it also gets like 7 turns, just like Orchi. I mean, how many has it? I think it gets like 8. I don't know how many turns it gets. Yeah, it has 7 heads. But yeah, bam! Oh, I did not know you could actually get criticals on counters. That is actually really cool to know. I did not know. Oh, and it's pretty much dead. Look, its heads are bowing. Its heads are leaning over. Oh, so close. Yeah, though this fight isn't too hard. But I mean, if you haven't put investments into the mantras, into the right mantras, then yeah, this fight could actually be kind of annoying because of all the status ailments she can provide. But I mean, you can do a whole bunch of training because you have a healing terminal and a save. The only thing is though, the enemies don't provide a whole bunch of experience or Atema. It's nowhere near as good as the Titania hallway, so you know that's kind of a bummer. And Argilla learned a new healing ability. Well, with that though, that's that boss done. And with that, we are at the end of the tower. We can finally go and save Sera, but we're not going to yet because we have some things to do in the next part. Saving Sera will be after the next part because there's some stuff to be done. Some superfluous stuff. Anyways, she's crying, yeah. I know, she was crying. We gotta save her. But we're almost to the top. And here's Heat. Now, I've mentioned them a lot already. But to make the secret bosses appear, you actually need to do something very specific. You need to walk all the way up here to the top platform around where Heat and Gale are. If you do not, the secret bosses will not appear. You actually have to walk all the way up here and talk to them. The boss does not appear otherwise. So, the bosses will not appear otherwise. So make sure if you're doing that, you talk to them, because otherwise, if you save afterwards, then you'll have to climb all the way up the tower from the 4th. You have to climb the tower again, and that is a long and annoying journey. But you know what, though? I'm going to end the video here. We're going to go ahead and take on a whole bunch of Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Not yet. Not yet. Because if you walk all the way down here, the guy that's usually at the very front of the Karma Temple on the very by the road, he'll actually tell you about the bosses I'm talking about. I almost ended the video a little prematurely there. So let's actually go talk to him first, because I just remembered that if we talk to him, he'll tell us about them. Let's go see him first, and then we'll end the video. Yeah, okay. Oh, there he is. Turn around. There we go. Yep, and that's where we're going to go in the next part. So I will see you then when we fight them. Okay, bye then.